is Greg Hawk. He's been your NYSER representative for many, many years regarding the opening of the building for sports practices. He stressed that we're creating a liability to do this, so we went through like a number of topics. I'll just deliver the information. Regarding supervision, these are some of the questions.
Do we have any of this typed up for us to see?
No, I have my notes. Who's going to be responsible to supervise the community members who come in and out of the building? The coaches will supervise their athletes, but who's going to supervise the parents, the siblings, and the community members? The building's not able to be secured to the gym only, which means anyone in the building outside of the pool area has full access to both floors of the building. Some of the rooms are locked, some are not. There's items stacked and stored in hallways as the building's not ready for people to be in it, creating a safety issue. Building checks are done regularly in the mornings. If someone were to come into the building for a practice and get left in the building, no one would know until the next morning. Or if there was damage caused by someone in the building, it would not be discovered until the morning. The building security system is armed in the evenings by the pool coordinator. That person does not check the entire building. They secure the pool area. If we don't have regular cleaning people, so we're also creating a liability. There's some safety risks with, your typical wet, muggy, salty boots over time not being clean could lead to bigger issues, bacteria, odors, salt on the floor, etc. is not good for it. As far as the utilities go, it'd be a nominal increase to turn the lights on in the locker rooms in the gym and hallways. There's already lights in the pool area. The heat, the building's already at a temperature because we can't turn it down, so it is at like one even keel temperature. The weather's going to start to get warm now anyway, but we might get to increase it. Some suggestions that he offered is that you could have coaches sign some sort of an agreement or contract indicating they're willing to take responsibility for anyone who enters the building, that they'll lock the building to ensure that everyone's out of the building when they're done, and they'll clean the floors and lock the rooms after building use. Another option is to hire a laborer to be assigned to the building for supervision and cleaning before, during, and after practices. This person then would be responsible for opening the building, completing a building check after practices, and cleaning up after building use. Now, a couple problems with that. I'm not so sure your coaches would be willing to be responsible for anybody else that went into the building, and I'm not sure they should be. The hiring of the labor, we have two problems with that. One, it's costly, but if you talk about a full-time person, by the time we pay them health insurance and everything, you're looking at $41,000. Now, the problem is we took over 6 months to find a full-time labor in this district. We had a huge problem finding somebody to fill the position, and if we lower the position to anything less than full-time, we're probably going to even have more difficulty to find somebody to fill it. If we pull somebody from the other buildings, then you're going to have to tell us what we don't want to clean in the other buildings, which means classrooms, what are we not going to be cleaning on a regular basis, so that we can send that person over there. In addition to Laura talking to him, when I was at Niscus, our insurance company happened to be there, NYSER, and Greg Hawk saw me across the hall and he said, "Can I talk to you?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "I had a conversation with Laura last week." I said, "Yeah, I do know." I said, "I asked her to call you." He said, "Well, I'm going to tell you that you have to find some way to explain to your board that although they can open that building, that I feel that it is a huge liability for the district. And they need to recognize the liability that they could be putting the district in, and I think you need to implore them to seriously consider not doing so. That building," he said, "right now is vacant. It's essentially, you might as well call it used for storage. It's not regular upkeep. And, for all of the reasons he said that I gave Laura that she'll show you." So that was his recommendation to me. So they do have a schedule. They're practicing. No one's sharing a gym, and practices are done by 6:30.
So is the insurance a lot less? Do we pay a lot less to have this building?
No, the insurance is the same.
So we're paying the same amount of money?
It's the liability issue of putting people in an empty building that has stuff stored in hallways and classrooms open, and no one there to ensure that nobody gets stuck in the building at the end of the night.
What about volunteers?
You don't think that the coach that's paid would know if he has 15 people in and 15 people out?
Parents are going to pick up their kids.
So if the parents were not allowed into the building to pick up their kids?
Yeah.
I mean, like
who's going to monitor that?
At the elementary school, they used to have soccer practice that went until 10 o'clock at night.
I thought
so the doors ended up getting locked. Yes, we weren't very late. They had not youth, outside people, not
Oh,
regular people,
okay.
okay, not school stuff. So that they end up, the janitors end up locking the door at 9 o'clock, so parents couldn't even go in and get their kids, and they were a lot of smaller kids at that time. So the building was locked at that time, and so the coach did was bring them all out.
Why is this necessary, Kid?
I don't know, all I'm gonna say is that I know when I was in that building, and later on when Laura got hired, she was in that building. Lori Gregory and I were often the only ones in that building. Later when Laura got hired, we were the only ones. There were kids running all over the building all the time. I often had to come out of the office to ask where the kids were going. No, you can't go up and down the stairs. You know, that was already an issue there. And when I left that building, and it was many times, because it was my first year, you know, and I had a lot to do and a lot to learn, it was 11, 12 o'clock. I mean, you know, and I would walk through the building because I was so afraid that somebody would be stuck in that building. It's a little spooky, too, when you're in there by yourself, and you just have to try not to think about it, because I don't work for Homeland Security. But, you know, before I turned that alarm on, you know, I would try to double check, but even I couldn't ensure, you know, I couldn't say, oh yeah, there's nobody in this building. I don't, you know, I thought there wasn't. I don't know. I'm just relaying the information that we were given.
Could you show us your schedule? You said you had a schedule.
Yeah, there is a schedule, and I can email you these notes too if you'd like. We have a schedule. I could pass it around, but there's no one sharing, and I know that was a concern, and rightfully so. It's a safety concern. And from what I can tell on here, am I correct? That 6:30 is the latest time?
Yes.
Okay. So where do you want me to start? I'll start over here.
So is that I got a little information like last week about Pioneer's Pool is down, they want to utilize our pool.
No one's contacted us.
No, okay. Because I mean, I understand that the pool can be completely resurfaced and redone.
Yeah, no one said anything. I saw Sharon.
It is?
It's
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah, somebody
It is
enough
closed?
about
It was in the paper that
Our pool was going to be closed?
The superintendent doesn't even know.
But I think Pioneer's pool is closed for running.
I saw
Yeah,
Sharon,
there's
she didn't say anything.
Yeah, that
Closed
was the
because
whole,
they had a maintenance problem.
Did they make a
It's
request to go
closed,
somewhere
but they're
else?
gonna renovate.
no, the whole basis of the article was that, Sardinia's pool is being renovated this summer. And the Pioneer's pool is gonna be renovated, or something else is going on. And in the article, it stated that Holland's pool was also gonna be closed this summer.
Was that a couple weeks ago when our pool was down for maintenance?
No, it was before.
Because I
It
did
was-
see an article
it was
similar
before.
to that
No, it was before.
at that time.
I mean, there's an opportunity right there that we can maybe generate something.
Yeah, I even saw her. She didn't say anything. I didn't know her pool was going to be closed. I'm wondering if they knew that we were working.
I think it's fair to reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a.
But they shouldn't have. If they're renovating it, there wouldn't have been a rent thing. They would have hit.
The only reason I know is my niece put through has a swing. At the end of the week.
So are they looking for a place for their recreation? Is that?
I don't know, but
because
you would think they
Pioneer
would have
doesn't-
planned that
They
stuff
would've,
long
yeah.
ago. They didn't just know their pool was going under. So I guess that's what my question is. Did they know, and have they made other arrangements?
When was that article in the paper? That was a couple months ago.
It's a couple months ago, and they said that Holland schools would be closed, the pool would be closed. And they were scammering because there's like 3 local pools that now will be closed, and no community pool access anywhere in 3 districts.
They're gonna try. Well, what's your recommendation here, Kid?
Well, it's not going to be a popular one, but my job in this district is to keep everybody out of a liable situation. So I'm going to have to say that I recommend that you follow the insurance agent's recommendation that you do not put yourself in any state of liability.
Well, it doesn't sound like we need to, if nobody's sharing the pool, the gym.
So we can have the insurance agent, he can write this up, right, saying that that's his recommendation, that we do not
These are
put
his
children.
notes.
That he'll have it written up, so we can get that to the parents and to the public. That's the reason why we're not putting any kids in the school, because the insurance company is recommending
Well,
that we do
you
not.
as a
let
board
it-
are the ones that did have to make the decision. I'm giving the recommendation that I'm following the NYSER's recommendation only because, again, my job is to do my best to try to keep you out of a liable situation.
Right, but I went,
Can't always do
I
that,
went to the
but
insurance
you
company,
try.
he's the one telling us that we should not put our kids in school.
But he said
The
you have
insurance
the right to
company's
put your
telling
kids
us.
in the
Right.
school and you can do what you want. He's strongly recommending that you don't for X, Y, and Z. I mean, that's what